Hey, good morning, guys. And it is Road to the Show, second part of the series. So if you didn't get a chance to catch the first one, I will put the link in the description so you can follow through the series. I'm also making it a playlist, so you can go down into the playlist and check out the first video on the Road to the Show for the May 31st Alberta Open, where I will be competing in the Masters divisions for Men's Physique at 55 years old. Hey, look at me, still going. So I'm just going to start off today with a typical day of eating, kind of take you through my day. It's going to be kind of basic, nothing too fancy. My thought process on this is, leading up to the show, or when I first started dropping the weight, my intention wasn't necessarily to do a show at that point. I just know that I needed to lose weight. I was getting too damn heavy. Let myself go. I was up to 310 pounds, like I had mentioned before. So I started my diet at about 3,600 calories or so. And that might seem like a lot of calories to some, but again, at 6'4" and 310 pounds, 3,600 calories was enough to put me in a deficit and get the weight loss moving. Again, with my goal being a drop of about 1 to 2 pounds per week on average, and making the adjustments. So guys, when it comes to weight loss or fat loss or contest prep, you can't expect that your program is going to be statically the same from start to finish. As your body loses body fat and your weight drops, your requirement for calories decreases as well. So you're going to have to make those modifications if you see your fat loss starting to stall. Now, dieting for competition's a lot more challenging than just regular weight loss, because you got to ensure that you're maximizing that fat loss so that you're exactly where you need to be come a certain date. So if you've never done it before, I would suggest giving yourself an abundance of time depending on how much you need to lose. Again, with that goal being roughly 1 to 2 pounds per week. If you've competed before, then you kind of have an idea of where that end weight goal should be. But if you've never competed before, it could be a tricky thing. So I would suggest that you would embark on a fat loss program just to kind of get yourself relatively lean, and then see where you're at that point going forward, making the decision obviously as to whether you want to compete or not. So again, the diet started at about 3,600. I didn't start filming then because I didn't have any indication that I was even going to do a contest. Just wanted to lose the weight initially. So right now I'm about 2,260 calories or so per day, just over 2,200 anyways. And when it starts to get lower in calories, and that's a low amount for me, puts me in a good deficit. I've been dropping probably close to 2 pounds per week now. You're limited in the options because of the diminished amount of calories, because you still always want to make sure you're hitting your protein goals. So if I'm only eating 4 meals a day, when I started, I was eating 5 or 6 meals a day, because having 3,600 calories is a lot easier to spread out than 2,200 calories. So right now I'm down to 4 meals a day. And I still want to hit my target protein goal of about, 250 grams of protein or so. So if I'm dividing that up over 4 meals, you can see that's about 62, 63 grams of protein per meal, to get my 250 over the 4 meals. So calories are a huge factor with that in relation to that much protein, because most of my meals have to be very protein dominant meals. So it limits my choices in my food selections to those that are high protein and reasonably low in calories. And the reason people on bodybuilding shows eat so simplistically is because just that. It's very, very simple. It's very consistent. Once you find that kind of magic formula of, you know, a good protein source and the right amount of calories per the meal, you tend to stick with it for a long period of time, simply because it's easier. It's not that I couldn't choose different things. I can, but it's just a matter of keeping it simple. And right now I don't really need the variety or anything like that, because I'm not losing my brain over eating the same foods, because it wasn't that long ago where I was kind of pretty much eating, I wouldn't say whatever I want, but I had a lot more freedom in extra calories to change different meals around and hit those macro targets pretty darn easily. So we're going to start our day here. I'll start with a little Nespresso coffee. There it is right there. We're going to kick off a Nespresso, and I still use a splash of cream in it. What flavor we want to go with today? If you can see, let me turn this thing around here. There's quite the collection of Nespresso coffees. I'm a bit of a coffee aficionado now, my wife and I. Love our Nespresso coffee. So today I'm going to go with Melozio. Kickstart the day with a coffee. It's about 7:30 in the morning, so I started this one off a little bit later than I would have liked. Typically I'm up by about 5 a.m., 5:30, and I'm starting this stuff just by way of habit. But I went to bed late last night, so you know that offset my day a little bit for today, which is no problem. We will still get it all in. But the challenging part of, you know, contest prep and managing and juggling that with your regular shit that's going on throughout the day, and trying to fit in those extra things that you know that you need to. Because when you're doing more cardio than you're typically doing, you know, your training's very, very intense. So trying to manage your day, you have to be very, very structured in which to get it in, especially if you have other, you know, obligations and liabilities, and you know, you've got the kids and you've got work and you've got prepping your meals. So if you have someone solid in your corner like I do, my wife Antonella, who's also a fitness and nutrition coach, she helps me with all of my food prep, which is a massive help and saves so much time for me. So I'm able to get a lot more done in my day and not have it compromised too much by, you know, making and prepping meals. And, you know, she weighs them all out for me and stuff like that. So I know I'm getting exactly what I need for the day. So I'm going to knock it off here. I'm going to come back and we're going to go over a full day of eating with you. All right. I'll talk to you in a bit. And thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It's going to be a cool journey. I'm going to take you right up to the stage, and we'll see where we're at. Cheers. We'll talk to you in a bit on the next go around right about. Okay, first meal of the day about to go down. We got our Nespresso coffee all set. I do throw a splash of cream in there. I'll probably keep that in there probably right up close to the show, maybe about 7 to 10 days out. I'll knock off any food additives or condiments that, you know, may contribute to, you know, bloating or any type of stomach digestion. Not that I typically get much in the way from small amounts of dairy. Dairy products are just one of those things that, you know, even if you have like just even a mild sensitivity to lactose or dairy, you might not even be aware of it, but it's enough to cause you to hold a little bit more water, have a little bit of a, you know, not upset, but digestive bloating or anything like that. So that's obviously something you want to avoid. So typically we'll knock off the dairy about 7 to 10 days out. But right now we're at 11 weeks, so it's no problem. So the meals are still a little bit more liberal for breakfast. So I'm going to have Coach Antonella's famous tiramisu breakfast. And you can see that looks absolutely delicious. I'll put a link to the video where she shows you how to make this in the comments. And basically what it is 3 Weetabix biscuits on the bottom, and she pours some espresso coffee over it to soak up the liquid and covers it with whipped cottage cheese mixed with Revolution Nutrition isolate, whey protein isolate, to bring in the high amount of protein. We've got blueberries to top it off, cocoa powder to top it off, and Walden's pancake syrup. Gives you that sweet taste. 0 calories per 2 tablespoons. Now, not everything that says 0 calories is actually 0 calories. Food manufacturers are allowed to get away with a little bit of fuckery when it comes to labeling. You know, even if the calories were, say, like 0.9 or something like that, they're allowed to say 0. So you don't want to go overboard just because it happens to say 0 calories. It means you can use as much of it as you want. It's still, even though something's still 0 calories, I'm still kind of, you know, aware of how much of it that I'm using. A big example of that is like Pam cooking spray. So if a lot of you use cooking spray to do, you know, cook your meats or whatever you have in it, like it says 0 on the label, or it's some low amount of fat or something like that. Guys, it's a canister of compressed, pressurized fat. And so, but they can make the serving size so small that it doesn't have to be listed on the label of the nutrition on the bottle itself. But the serving size is like 1/4 of a second spray. And I don't know about you, but nobody's flipping using 1/4 of it like, and that's it. No, you're spraying it for a good probably 2-3 seconds or even more in some cases. So the calories on the 0 thing, you know, you gotta be mindful of that. So this one's gonna go down. I always top it off my meals now with pink salt. Got the monster friggin' jug from Costco here. I measure 1/4 of a teaspoon with all of my meals. Keeping sodium high and electrolytes high are very important because they're responsible for so many functions in our body, including muscular contractions, just overall health, hydration, energy. All those things are, sodium is such an important thing that everyone kind of overlooks that fact. And because we've been kind of had it grained into us that, oh, salt is bad for you, you know. Salt is not bad for you. Our bodies have got this wonderful way of balancing our body as far as when we have a little bit too much of certain things, and you know, your kidneys will excrete extra sodium and your body will utilize what it needs. So I like to keep it in all the way up. It's not something that you want to restrict too much. Obviously right down to the very end, you may, and never eliminate it entirely, but you may reduce it somewhat, just right in the last day or so, but it's still never completely eliminated. So this one is, and again, I'll put the link to the recipe for the YouTube video for this gem. And obviously you can modify it according to your calorie needs by the amount of cottage cheese that you use or the amount of whey protein isolate that you use. This one for me is 525 calories roughly and 59 grams of protein. So we're gonna get this one back and join me on the next meal. Show you this little bite. Delicious. Tastes perfect. It's like junk food. Cheers. See you on the next one. Hey, so as part of my daily breakfast, I always like to throw in, I call it my Superman shake, and I'll show you what's in it. Again, it's part of a daily ritual. The thing to note when it comes to, you know, your diet and your weight loss, it's great to be consistent. So if you start falling into, you know, a good pattern of behavior where you're doing the same things at the same times every day, you know, wherever possible. I know it's, you know, life kind of tends to get in the way at sometimes, but the more routine that you can make stuff, just the better and easier it is. So I'm gonna go over my little morning Superman shake. It's got all kinds of goodness in here. The very first one is my IM8. What a fantastic drink. It's a daily ultimate essentials and hydration. It kind of tastes like, I don't know how to say that word, ACAI, ACE, or I don't know what the hell it is, but it's got that kind of that berry taste to it, and I've had a lot of greens drinks in the past before, and a lot of them just kind of taste like garbage. It kind of tastes like you would expect it to taste, like you were eating chunks of dirt or something like that. But they give you this nice solid canister when you start up. I'm gonna put the link, because I actually became an ambassador for the company after my wife and I tried it for the first month. They let you try it risk-free for a month, which is great. And I tell you, you notice the difference like right away. A cognitive acuity, like my mental functioning seems to be much better. And you know, you just feel overall better. A lot more energy during the day. I typically would have naps almost every day. I haven't had a nap since I've been using it. And I liked it so much I became an ambassador, so I got my own code. And it is Gazy Fitness at im8health.com. I'll put that link in the description, so they'll give you 10% off and give you a free startup kit with the code. They give you a nice stainless steel shaker bottle to mix your IM8 in. Every month they automatically send me 2 pouches, one for my wife and I, 92 different ingredients in it. Fantastic product. The idea is that it replaces like 16 different products for gut health, hormonal health, heart health, joint and bone health, your daily, like clinically dosed amounts of, you know, the vitamins and minerals that you need for the day, electrolytes, probiotics, prebiotics, postbiotics. It's like they crammed everything in here, 92 different ingredients, and it's not in chintzy doses either. And some of the things that are in here are quite expensive, like CoQ10 for heart health is not a cheap product to add. MSM, things like that. It's just a great product, and I stand by it and I swear by it, and I will continue to use it. They give you this nice little metal spoon as well with it. So throw a scoop of that going down. They automatically have a subscription thing, or you can just try it once and see. You'll notice it off the bat. I guarantee that you'll just keep using this stuff as part of the regular. So I also add in my Revolution Nutrition glutamine powder. I take about 5 to 7 grams a day of that every morning into the shake, going down. It's good for digestive health, gut issues. It's also a good antioxidant. So I throw the glutamine in there. Add in a creatine monohydrate. This one isn't from Revolution Nutrition. I ran out. They did have a great promotion going on where you had a free 250 gram pouch of creatine with every order, which is a pretty good deal. It's like 50 servings. So I do about another 5-6 grams of that, a scoop of that going in. That one's going down the hatch. I look forward to this every morning because it's a very refreshing drink. I use Redmond's Relight electrolytes. In my opinion, this is probably the best one on the market. Redmond's very popular for using high quality real salt ingredients. So you've got all your trace minerals, calcium, magnesium, chloride, sodium, all the things that are in there for your electrolytes to help fuel your workouts. Hydration, guys, isn't just about how much fluid you're taking in. It's also about electrolyte balance and how much fluid your body's actually utilizing to do what it needs to do. And don't be afraid of salt, sodium, and electrolytes, especially when you're working out and you're sweating, or you live in a hot climate, or you live in a cold climate. Your body needs more electrolytes. And the fact that you're doing cardio and stuff like that, so you got to throw it in there. I always use Redmond's Relight. IM8 has the electrolytes in it, but I like to have even more electrolytes. But for me, I'm a big dude, and I like to have a little bit extra. IM8's fantastic, but if you're working out, sometimes I think it's good to top up on a few of these things. Revolution Nutrition Vitamin C, just a little bit extra of that. You can't go wrong with extra vitamin C. I do maybe about 3 grams a day supplementally, and then whatever else is just naturally occurring in the food that I have. I am 8 Revolution. I got a code for that as well. Me and my codes, man. You see how it works is everyone thinks, oh, you sound like a hustler or a businessman. It's no. I've been using the Revolution products for years before I even became an ambassador. And my thought process is, if I'm going to use the products regularly and I really enjoy them and, I stand behind them because I use them myself, it's not like the company just reached out and said, hey man, do you want to start promoting our products? No, that's a different thing, because you haven't necessarily used the products before. If it was a great product, there's a chance that you would have been using it all along. So I actually reached out to the company because I want to get a deal on this shit for myself. I'm not worried about making extra money from it. I just want my own supply to be cheaper, because as you can see, I take a lot of stuff and that shit gets expensive. It really adds up. So the thing about contest prep is you can try to minimize the costs wherever possible, because it's not, when you think about all of the food and all of the supplements and your entry fees and your suit and your tanning and your hotels, and you want to get the photographer booked, and if you're registering in more than one class, it's you're talking a lot of money. And women, oh, forget it. Suits and hair and makeup and everything that goes into looking that great for such a small period of your life. You're literally up there for seconds, man. Like, if you've ever done it before, the feeling, because it's months and months leading up to it, where you've got that, that emotional pressure building, and that, it's just growing in you, that you're looking forward to this one thing. And that one thing, when you think of the amount of time that you're actually on the stage doing what it is that you spent all this friggin' time and energy and effort into doing, hours and hours and hours, is literally over in seconds. And trust me when I say, and it feels shorter than it actually is too. You're not up there for a long period of time, couple minutes, not including prejudging and stuff like that, but it's not a long period of time. And it just feels like, boom, you walk off the stage and it's like, holy shit, that was it. It's almost like such a huge buildup, but such a rapid release of emotions, because it's over so quick. And it's like, where the hell did that go, man? So before we get on the rant there, anyways, sorry about that. Top it all off with a little splasharooski of apple cider vinegar, the old ACV. It's organic. Doesn't mean a whole lot to me. I don't fall for the organic stuff. Like, just buy whatever's a decent product at a good price. And I don't measure this. There's no calories in apple cider vinegar. And I'm not going to go on at great lengths about the benefits of it, because there's just too many to talk about. Just throw it in there. It's great for digestion. They say it helps a little bit with fat loss, but I think any of that stuff is kind of bullshit. That, helping with fat loss is, when people think, oh, I'll just take apple cider vinegar and that's going to help me lose weight. Well, not if you're eating too many friggin' calories. Like, what do you think it's going to do? Magically eliminate additional shit in your body that shouldn't have been there in the first place? If you want to focus, and don't look at fat burning supplements as your answer here. The very first thing that you have to get in the game is your diet and the amount of calories that you're taking in. If you're not losing weight, it means one of two things: that you're eating too much, or you're not moving enough, or a combination of both. So don't worry about special lotions and potions and shit like that. It's going to be a waste of your money, and you're going to go away flustered and probably less motivated than you were to begin. focus first on your diet. I got a great series that I'm in the producing right now on YouTube for, you know, how to do the weight loss part of it on your own. So check that out as well. That'll be in the playlist as well. So we're going to get this Superman shake down, and I'm going to catch you probably for a little bit of morning cardio after we're done this. Okay, cheers. It's going down the hatch. I am 8. Let's do it, baby. Okay, cardio time in the basement. So if I were to be asked how much cardio I'm doing now at 11 weeks out, I wouldn't measure it in time. Like if you saw the first video, I measure the cardio in steps. So right now I'm doing 13,000 steps per day, however many minutes that translates to. For every 10 minutes of cardio, it's 1,000 steps. So I'm going to throw in 60 minutes right now. So I'm going to get 6,000 steps in right now, go about my regular day, have my workout, have my meals. Towards the end of the evening, see how many steps I have remaining to get to 13,000, jump back on the treadmill, polish off the remaining steps, however much time it takes me. I got the speed set at 3 miles an hour, the incline at 2.5. So if things start to kind of stale a little bit, a couple options. I can make it a little bit harder to burn more calories, which means I can go faster, which I don't really want to do. You know, the faster you go, harder it is to sustain. The key to contest prep is muscle preservation, and higher intense bouts of cardio can tend to interfere with that to a certain degree, certainly affect your training performance and the ability to push in the gym if you're completely yankered due to hard cardio sessions. So I keep the intensity kind of mild to moderate, low intensity, steady state. Cardio is, in my opinion, the way to do it. Or I can also increase the incline. Right now I have it up to 2.5. Or you can also increase the duration of the cardio. Increase the number of step count for the day. So if things start to plateau on me, I think the next thing I'll do is probably add another 1,000 steps, which would be the equivalent of an extra 10 minutes a day of cardio. So let's end a debate right here and now, to the point where it shouldn't even be debatable. And the reason things are the way they are as far as fitness goes is a lot of the methodology and a lot of the, you know, tips and tricks that we've utilized is, you know, based on information that we've had in the past. Well, this is what's worked and has always worked, so therefore it will continue to work. And quite often we don't adapt new strategies or, you know, rely on science to a certain degree to prove or disprove things that we may have been doing, not necessarily incorrectly, but perhaps we could be getting more out of them. And for this one, I mean the age-long fasted cardio fucking bullshit just rubs me to no end. So if you understand how the body works, exercise physiology, we've got two basic substrates of energy. Well, kind of three. So I'll describe that. We've got primary source of energy, which your body wants to readily utilize, quickly utilize, carbohydrates. In its simplest form, we eat the food, body converts it to stored muscle glycogen in the muscle, in the brain, and the liver. And in times of activity, your body relies primarily on glycogen to fuel the muscle, to burn those calories, to fuel the energy required for the activity. And also to a lesser degree, fats. And a lot of it depends on the intensity of the exercise. You know, if you're exercising more intense or long duration, those metrics change a little bit, shifting from carbohydrates over into fat stores and both. But let's consider this. It's still about a total energy equation. Calories in versus calories out. How much am I consuming? How much am I burning? Now, the thought process was, still is for some people, that in a fasted state, so if you haven't really consumed any carbohydrates and you do fasted cardio, that your body is primarily utilizing fat as a fuel source because, well, you haven't really consumed anything. And the only thing that's really being stored in your body is fat. So it's going to utilize that fat as a fuel source, which is not untrue. But your body's going to rely on glycogen as a fuel source primarily. And that glycogen is stored where? In your muscle tissues. So doing fasted cardio, you're pulling glycogen out of the muscle to fuel the fat burning, which is not a huge issue because as soon as you start to eat your carbs and your food again, those stores will replenish and go back. But to think that you're burning extra fat because you're doing fasted cardio is wrong. It's been scientifically proven. I don't have the study in front of me, but for those who are hell-bent on proving me wrong, look it up. It's well documented in science. They've done clinical studies proving that fasted cardio versus fed cardio is no different. You get a greater percentage of fat burning, or not fat burning, but you get a greater percentage of fat being used as a fuel source while you're doing the cardio. But afterwards, there's no difference. If you're doing it while fed, your body is utilizing blood glucose primarily as an energy source because it's still circulating around in your body from the meals. You're using that as a fuel source. But that is creating a deficit of blood glucose and energy. So the energy expenditure, whether you're doing cardio in a fat burning or fasted state versus a fed state, is the same. I'm not burning more energy fasted or less energy when I've got carbs. It's the same amount of energy. The energy equation, the cost of the calories, is exactly the same. So if the equation is calories in, calories out, it doesn't flippin' matter if you're doing it fed or fasted. The only thing that I can say, and I've done both, is do your cardio when it's most convenient for you to do cardio, and when you are 110% certain that you're able to get it in. If that means that you're doing it first thing in the morning, absolutely, get it done first thing in the morning, fasted or fed. It doesn't matter. But what I like to do is consider this. I'm sipping on my Revolution Nutrition EAA drink. Essential amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. Protein is responsible for muscle building, muscle preservation. And when you're in a depleted state, diet, contest prep, carbohydrates can be restricted. Calories overall are lower than what your body requires to function. So muscle building is at an all-time low. It's not a priority, especially if you are a natural athlete versus a performance-enhancing drugs-assisted athlete. Muscle preservation can be very difficult because you're depleted and your body wants to use a fuel source that's available. So the fat's there, the carbs there, What you don't want to have happen is your body will also, to a lesser degree, convert protein into glucose in a process called gluconeogenesis. You don't want this to occur. You want your protein to be utilized for muscle preservation, muscle building. You don't want protein to be used as a fuel source. So in essence, your carbohydrates and fats, to a lesser degree, are protein sparing. They are allowing your protein to do what it needs to be do, so you are utilizing as much of it as you can for muscle preservation, so you're not dropping muscle while you're dieting. Take a long distance runner, for example, versus a sprinter. Different body types, right? Muscle protein synthesis, not too high. Gluconeogenesis, likely through the roof. Their body is utilizing muscle protein and every other source of nutrient that they've got coming in as a fuel source. And as a result, you look lanky, skinny, and quite often, unless you love that ultra distance, long distance marathon runner look, a lot of people don't, prefer to necessarily look like that. Not that they prefer to look like a bodybuilder either, but keeping the muscle on your body while diminishing the fat, certainly for most people has a more preferred kind of look to it. You don't have to be all beefy and jacked or anything like that, but having good muscle definition, people look at you and say, yeah, there's a person that clearly works out with weights. You probably wouldn't be saying that about a marathon runner. No. You wouldn't say that there's a person that you might say that there's a person that's perhaps suffering from some sort of illness. So it's not a look that I'm gunning for. So I take the EAAs as a way of providing ample amino acids for protein synthesis. It's good for recovery. You want those aminos available to do what they're designed to do, provide the fuel for building muscle, assisting with recovery. Is it 100% required if you have enough protein in your diet? That's a debatable topic as to how effective branched chain amino acids are, how effective EAAs are. And I'm going to suggest that if your diet is pretty solid with protein intake, then no, because protein contains branched chain amino acids. Protein contains essential amino acids. The difference being the essential part. If you're going to choose one, I would choose EAAs over BCAAs. BCAAs are coming in throughout the day in fairly decent abundance if you're eating regular protein meals. If you're hit and miss, then it might be an advantage to you. But as the name states, essential amino acids means your body must have them in adequate amounts to do what it is that you want it to do. And in this case is build muscle, preserve muscle tissue. So I like to sip on that intra-workout or when I'm doing cardio, just to ensure that those levels are as good as they can be. And in the worst case scenario, or in the best case scenario for me, I've got some decently flavored water, and I'm not a water drinking, loving guy, just plain water. It just, for whatever reason, I just can't get back enough of it. But if it's got a bit of a taste to it, I can get that stuff back all day long. So I still will rely on EAAs while I'm training, probably a couple liters right there. And I'll still have diet soda, a few cans of that. So there's another, liter or two of diet soda. I'll add sugar-free sweeteners to my water, Crystal Light, sugar-free Kool-Aid, things like that, just so there's some flavoring there. And it's good when you're on a diet just to have those taste sensations on like a solid, strong contest prep diet, because it's good to bring in those different taste sensations. It's just very mentally satisfying. I'm aiming to get back, and I'm going to suggest that you guys do this as well. For myself, 6 to 7 liters of fluid a day. I count everything. I count the coffees. I know there's a very, very mild diuretic effect to coffee, but it's still important to count it because it's still hydration coming in. So I would suggest that you get like a water logging app. You don't have to use it all the time. It's kind of like a food tracker. It can be a bit of a pain in the ass to have to log, but do it for a short period of time on what you would consider a typical day of fluid consumption, just out of curiosity to see, you know, how much fluid are you actually taking in. I recommend, like for most people, to aim for about, if you're training hard, aim for about 1 gallon a day or 4 liters a day at the very bare minimum. Everything in our bodies work in a liquid medium. Water. 70% of our muscles, water. Blood, mainly water. Saliva, digestive issues, bowel movements, everything in the presence of water. Clearing toxins out of the body, coming out as a result of, you know, you're peeing it out, you're breathing it out. Just breathing, you're losing water. Sweating, losing a pile of water, pile of electrolytes. So we're constantly flushing electrolytes and water out of our bodies. And when we're exercising, that's done at much higher of a rate, in which you're getting rid of that garbage out of your body that it doesn't really want or need, and saying, give me the rest. And that's where electrolytes come in. Make sure that you salt the shit out of everything that you have. And if you're also training hard and intense, doing cardio and weights, consider adding an electrolyte powder, such as IM8 or Redmond's Reelite, or both, which I use both. I use the IM8 and the Redmond's Reelite because I'm a sweater. So already, even just walking on here for 22 minutes, I'm already sweating up a bit of a storm. Not crazy, mind you, but I can feel that kind of healthy glow. So make sure you're getting the water intake. Track it, see where you're at, aim for at least 4 liters. Higher, depending on your body weight, depending on your size. It's about 1 ounce for every pound of weight that you are. So if you weigh 150 pounds, shoot for 150 ounces. Go from there, see how you feel. I guarantee it will increase performance, it will increase recovery, it will improve digestion, it will assist with muscle fullness when you have adequate electrolytes, adequate amount of carbohydrates in your body. Just the way to go. So I'm going to knock this one off for the moment. Join me for meal 2 afterwards. We'll show you what we got on the road to the show 11 weeks out. Thanks again. Sponsors, visit their links on the screen. Recon Health and Fitness, IM8, Revolution Nutrition. I got discount codes for all of them. Gasp and Better Bodies Clothing. So help a brother out, help yourself out, give yourself a good deal. They are good products. I don't recommend them first and foremost because I get paid. The getting paid part's a bonus. Who gonna fucking kid here? Nice to get a couple bucks here and there. It's not tons and tons, mind you, but hey, every little bit helps to offset your own personal costs. So if you like a product to the extent that I do, and you're looking to get on board with their ambassador program, try to hook it up. And then at least, you get yourself a deal. People that you know or people that you are able to influence, use your code, makes your stuff a little bit cheaper. So visit them, and we will see you on the next meal. Cheers. Okay, so if not to make matters worse, for contest prep and making your day a little bit more intense or busy, we have 2 new additions to the Gazy Fitness family. We've got Baron is a lilac French bulldog, and good to kiss. Oh, little kiss, kiss, kiss. And we've got Biscotti. She is a blue French bulldog. They were born on January the 1st. So they are going to be going through contest prep with me. And thankfully, I have the loving, ever gracious support and understanding of Coach Antonella, my wife, who, for the most part, if not all of it, takes care of these precious little babies and lets me do my shit. I just got finished cardio. As you can see, I'm a little bit sweaty, and we've got Puppy Patrol. So I'm going to put them down now, and we are going to talk about meal number 2 for the day. Okay, let's put these. I'm going to put them down. Hang on. There we go. They are down. So apologize, a little bit sweaty. Cardio got right up there. So this is raw. This is real. So I got my 60 minutes of cardio done, and that added me 6,000 steps. Put in the comments if you guys record your steps. This happened to me yesterday, and it, for whatever reason, flipping pissed me off, is my Apple Watch that I use to kind of count my steps on the app somehow clicked off onto the lock screen and didn't record most of my cardio. So it's like those steps never even existed. And then I've got my app sending me messages. Your steps are lower today. You've lost the streak that you were on. I'm like, for fuck's sakes, I did them. I know I did them, but I felt some moral accountability towards my app. So Antonella was like, well, why don't you just go and do more steps? And I'm like, screw that. I know I did them. I'll just have this app just deal with its shit on its own. So next meal, number 2 of 4 for the day, 2,259 calories. It's never that exact. Come on, who are we talking about? But it's going to be fairly close. This one, have a look at that, is a protein pudding. We have a great video on how to make some of these recipes. Put a link in the comments. I'll also link it at the end of the video, the playlist where you can see the recipes of some of these. Give us a follow, show us some love. A lot of these videos are great. Hopefully they are helpful. Hopefully they're informative, maybe helping you sway either for or against ever doing this to yourself. It does not come with 2 puppies, by the way. But we don't have kids, so instead, we've got dogs. Talk about the protein pudding. I am going to let Antonella shout out to me what she has got in this amazing, it tastes like a dessert. It honestly does. It's not something I'm probably going to utilize all the way up to contest prep, but right now the macros fit and I make it work. So Coach A, what is in this bad boy?
So there is Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
Cream cheese.
Greek yogurt, cream cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
Protein powder, Revolution cookies and cream.
Revolution cookies and cream. Use the discount code. Oh, it's not a discount code. You get a free product with every order of Revolution if you use my code RNDaryl. Put the link in the description. What else we got in there?
PB2.
PB2. That's that peanut butter powder replacement. Okay.
There's cocoa powder.
Cocoa powder.
Jello cheesecake pudding.
Let me see that.
Yeah, it's a 0 sugar.
It's a sugar-free Jello cheesecake pudding mix that goes in here. Not a lot of it. I think there's like 8 grams. 8 grams.
Not very much.
Half a teaspoon. Not a lot of cocoa powder. The bulk of it is what? Protein powder.
Yogurt.
Greek yogurt. We use the Costco one. Greek yogurt's friggin' ridiculous. I just went to the grocery store yesterday. It was like $8 for Greek yogurt. Like, come on. Anything else in there?
Yeah, there's whole earth sweetener.
Whole earth sweetener. It is a sugar-free sweetener, but it's natural. They use like monk fruit and stevia. So I rely on those a little bit.
And then on the top of it, there's the Quest. Now, a lot of people get the regular size, but you want the mini butter cups.
Quest peanut butter mini cups. Now each one's only kind of tiny.
Crush
like
it.
A little bit, but crumble it up in there and you can see it on the top. Just adds a little bit of extra love. It's got alcohol-based sweeteners. Each, one of them 40, so 5 of them have like almost 200 calories. So one of them is what, a fifth of that. So one of these things has got, what's a fifth of 200? A fifth of 200 is like 40 calories. Is that right? Yeah. Each one of those, just so 1 cup crushed in there is 40 calories. Again, I'm not going to run this all the way up because of the alcohol, sweeteners and stuff like that. It can cause a little bit of mild digestive discomfort for some people. And you want to stick away from the foods that may cause a little bit of even mild, even if you don't notice it. When you're that lean and the goal is to come in nice and full and dry, so you don't have that subcutaneous water, so the skin looks kind of shrink wrapped over the muscles, you want to avoid those types of foods that might be problematic, even if they're not. You don't know, even if it's just to a lesser, smaller degree. So typically eliminating dairy in like the last 7 to 10 days, so there'll be no dairy, no artificial sweeteners, stuff like that. It gets pretty bland in that last final home stretch, but this is a great one to have. I'm going to throw the macros up on the screen so you can see what they are and how they fit into my day. Again, you can tailor this according to your calorie needs.
I was going to say, instead of the putter cups, they can use nuts. Like you can crush walnuts or almonds on top instead.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
You can do that instead if some people don't like
crushed nuts. Yeah. Obviously, you can play with the quantities of the amount of cream cheese that you use and the amount of Greek yogurt that you put in there. So you can modify the calories up or down. I'm probably going to keep this one in long term though, because like I said, it's like a dessert. I would expect to order something like this at a restaurant. It's got a thick consistency to it, it's like pudding. So you can see it's still firm. It's a fantastic meal. And there's the phone going off. How's that for timing? Let me just click on that. Likely spam. Hey, if spam callers never called me, my phone would never ever ring. It's wonderful. Get rid of that. So yeah, what could you do to make this even more calories, which I'm looking forward to that someday? I can probably add a little bit of coconut whipped cream on top, some Walden syrups like the chocolate syrup or the caramel syrup. It's got the 0 calorie, but again, it's got those artificial sweeteners if some people try to avoid it. So that's it for this meal. I'm going to get this one back and you can join me for meal number 3. Hope you like the puppies. They are worth a subscribe, a like, a comment, and a share for the puppies. Antonella?
For the puppies.
For the puppies. Thanks so
puppies.
much. And hey, while I've got you here, let's talk about something a little bit real. And we got Antonella in the background willing to contribute. A little bite, so delicious. How important is it to have a strong support system while you're doing contest prep? Mentally, emotionally, you need a partner that is going to be understanding, compassionate. A lot of days, and Antonella might tell me otherwise, but hey, I'm a tiny bit more irritable as fuck than I normally am. Because when you're calorie deprived, and your spouse is eating, she's strict as well, but she obviously doesn't have to be as strict because, one maniac in the family is probably more than enough. But having her love, support, guidance, meal preparation, everything that she does for me just allows me to do this. If you don't have that, I can imagine how challenging it might be. Maybe you can help chime in. Be honest. If I'm a dick, I'm a dick. I know I can be. What do you find kind of challenging about being the spouse of somebody going through contest prep? Like, what can people kind of expect to maybe experience?
That's a good question. You do lose a little bit of your partner in the contest prep because you're so hyper focused, and it's basically all about this competition and your preparation for it. So mentally you're in a different space, and I think emotionally you're in a different space as well. So things have to take a backseat somewhere.
Yeah.
And it does take a lot of understanding and patience.
Because we're not going out to restaurants, which we typically enjoy doing together, like maybe once a week. Like when it comes down to maintenance phase, what I would typically like us to enjoy is, we eat super healthy, clean, and strict throughout the week. getting our workouts and our cardio in, and then we enjoy a nice meal, whatever we want. Once a week, we'll go out to a restaurant, eat some good food. If we want donuts, if we want pizza, we'll have them. And then right afterwards, we're right back into the program again. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that later, but thanks again for joining me, and we'll see you on the next meal. Cheers. And here we are, meal number 3 of 4. So I've got this one more, a little bit of cardio to wrap it up, and that'll be me for the day, for a full day of eating. And what we've got here is, and I'll throw the macros up on the screen here. We have, I wrote it down here so I don't mess it up, 215 grams of cooked grilled chicken breast. We have 150 grams of basmati rice. Cook this shit up in bulk, like a bunch of chicken breasts. If you're gonna make chicken breast, make like 8 of them at once or whatever the case may be. So then you've got the meals going for the week already, right? And you don't have to worry about spending too much extra time on prep. And I've got 45 grams of avocado. So that looks pretty good. So what you're doing here is you're looking at every meal and trying to figure out, okay, do I have enough protein? Number 1, are my calories within the range that I want it to be for the day? Number 2, you are tracking your meals so the calories are consistent and proper. Trust me, you don't want to be going over for 200, 300, 400, and that doesn't take long to add up, because the reason you're doing the cardio is to get the calories down. So you would hate to think that you're grinding away on the flipping treadmill just because you splashed a little extra olive oil on something. Not worth the trade-off. Measure your shit. Get it on the scale. It takes 10, 15 seconds. Not a big deal. Get your rice cooker. Cook a bunch up at once. Quick and easy meal. Now, remember I said I keep things pretty simple. So meal number 3 and meal number 4 are exactly the same. So I'm not going to show the last one because there's no point, because it's the same. And I'll put the calories for the day. So what am I focusing on? Again, I'm focusing on total protein. So we should be shooting for around 250 grams for me. I like to go for about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Your ideal body weight, not if you're 300 pounds and overweight, not that body weight. I got my pink salt, 1/4 teaspoon going on each meal. Remember to salt the shit out of that stuff for your electrolytes, muscle contractions. Here are some things that I kind of add on to make it palatable, more palatable. It's not a bad tasting meal, but sometimes you can get a little bit bored of the same stuff over and over and over again. It's a good idea to count the condiments, right? Because the condiments can add up. We've got my favorite Rooster Red Hot sauce. Throw in the comments whether you guys like to use condiments, which one that you enjoy using, because maybe there's some in there that I haven't experienced yet that I wouldn't mind. Mustard is a popular one, different types of mustard. Why? Because the calories are low. This one is 1 tablespoon, 15 calories. I don't really track, I will track condiments if they're going to be an abundance of calories, like 20, 30, 40, 50 calories, and I'm going to be using it frequently, because then when you can see that would quickly add up if you didn't keep track of it. But if I'm only adding in 10 here, a couple times a day, then I'm not overly concerned about an extra 20 or 30 calories. Calorie tracking isn't an exact science in any event. No 2 chickens are the same. No 2 eggs are the same. There's going to be variances. The idea is that you're going to come reasonably close, and that you're going to be reasonably consistent with the foods you eat. And that consistency comes from weighing it. So you're staying consistent. As you can see, I didn't put a ton of sriracha on there. There's no way that there's over a tablespoon on that, really. I've added sriracha sauce. Another one of my go-tos for flavoring up my chicken is I use some of the Walden's barbecue sauce. I'm stuck on the Walden's because I just like the fact that it's close to 0 calories. I never say 0 calories. This one is the Walden's honey flavored barbecue sauce. It says calorie free and 2 tablespoons, 0 calories. It's probably, again, but it's probably not 0. It's probably point something, or because it's got to be, because it says carbohydrates. They have it listed as 1 gram of carbohydrates. So we know that there's going to be perhaps a little bit less than 1 gram of carbs in there, but they can list 0 on the label because they used 2 tablespoons as the serving size. So, it's going to be probably 0.9 or something like that. So it's not a lot of calories though in any event. So if it makes your food taste that much better, then jazz it up a little bit. Like, why not? The last thing you want to do is hate your meals, especially if you're, on a contest prep. Again, this is a little more rigid than I typically would be. I'll be dropping condiments probably like a week out or so. Just extra calories, extra things that you don't want to worry about. You want to just keep it super, super simple so your body responds as well as it possibly can in every situation. And then the last thing I use, and I love this one, and I'm not sponsored by any of these people, but I just have used this forever. Flavor God seasonings. This stuff is the GOAT. 0 calories for 1/4 teaspoon. Again, there's that 0 calorie thing. So, but there's not going to be a lot. This one is ghost seasoning. So I like a little bit of spicy action on my chicken. But Flavor Gods has got like dozens of different seasoning types. They're all natural. There's no garbage in it. The ingredients are garlic, onions, sea salt, ghost chili peppers, black peppers, coriander, hot cayenne pepper, basil, parsley, and cumin. And that's it. And they're not cheap. These things are probably about $10 a bottle, but it lasts forever. And you order a bunch of them and get it on sale or whatever. And, it really helps. And because they've got a pile of flavors, you can usually dash it on your chicken when you're making it, when you're putting it in the oven or the air fryer. And then you've got different varieties of the same thing, but they taste a little bit different. So it's nice to kind of give yourself a bit of a break from eating the exact same thing. And I got my 600 mils of water. Again, it's a good idea to track the water every once in a while just to make sure you're getting enough. And then once you realize that you're getting enough, then you don't need to really track it anymore. You've got an idea of just how much you're drinking. You want to make sure that you're getting, like I said, at least probably 4 liters a day. Anything above that is just bonus. You don't need 2 gallons, 3 gallons, going crazy. You'll be peeing every 30 seconds, for God's sakes. So this is meal number 3 going down. And my total calories for the day are going to be around 2,260. Not a lot for my weight and size. So am I hungry? Fucking hungry. Yeah, I am. And you got to suck it up. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. It takes a lot of mental fortitude for sure. And those times where you're hungry, even just going to the grocery store to pick up stuff, is going to have you, biting your tongue, walking through some of the aisles with all the delectables kind of jumping out at you there. But hey, we chose this, right, for a reason. Again, do you need to be strict like this all year long? No, you do not. Contest prep time, we got to be super strict for that. And again, it's getting to the countdown. I'll touch base with you in a little bit. I'm going to get this one back because Daryl's hungry. And we'll check in with the final little bit of cardio. Cheers. Here we are in the Gazy Fitness basement getting ready for cardio time. Let's do a little basement tour. I want to do a whole tour of the gym once it all gets set up, the bulk of which is in the garage. I'm just in the basement right now. I'll kind of show you what I have. Just waiting for a few more pieces from Recon Health and Fitness. Very thankful to them for providing me with some amazing equipment. I got a great cable crossover. This one's not from Recon though, however. And got our infrared sauna there, good for recovery. Just a few things in the basement, the bulk of which is in the garage. I got a ton of stuff, can't wait to show you that. It looks like a commercial grade gym. Got my adjustable bench, just exercise ball, adjustable dumbbells, 5 to 50 pounds. It's nice to have these because they don't take up a ton of space. And it's a lot cheaper. If you were to source out all those dumbbells and the amount of space that they would require, it would be crazy. This thing is going to deserve a tour of its own. I'm going to do a review of this piece. It's called the Vitruvian Trainer. 440 pounds of magnetic digital resistance. It is crazy how many exercises you can do on this thing. Basically, it's like everything in one. Takes up a small amount of space and is absolutely amazing. Got my TV on the wall for doing cardio. And a treadmill right there. I did have the Peloton bike, but we got rid of it. I didn't need 2 pieces of cardio equipment really, although I loved it. Just used the treadmill more often. Gazy Fitness sign. Got our little boom box for the tunes. A little bit of motivation on the wall. Last show, Coach Antonello did this for me from the last show I did. And hopefully we're going to add another one in 11 more weeks. We'll throw up another one there. So let's get some cardio done, shall we? Cheers. Hey gang, so I have fast forwarded until about 9 p.m. And at this point I've got all 4 of my meals in. Still doing okay. And I got to finish off my treadmill to wind up this episode. When I jumped on, I had 9,500 steps already for the day. So I still need to get my 13,000 to hit my goal. So that means 35 minutes of cardio will get me that 13,000 steps. Call it for the day. So bringing the total amount of cardio for the day up to, I did a 60-minute this morning with you. Now another 35. So I got 95 minutes of cardio in. Got my weight workout in, 4 meals. I'm up to already 6 liters of water, sodium with every meal. And that's going to be it for this one. So thanks very much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Joining me in this journey to the May 31st Alberta Bodybuilding Championship, where I'm competing in the Masters division. Keep following the channel. I'm going to put out some more great content about the journey to the show. The next update, we'll probably do a little physique update, see where I'm at. And thanks again. Cheers, guys. And I hope you are able to create a journey for yourself. Perhaps just from watching this, or maybe you were thinking of doing it all along. But if it's motivating at all, or it strikes a chord, you know, and you're looking for coaching as well, that's something that we do. Put the website for our coaching in the description. If you just want to lose weight, not necessarily show prep or contest prep, but if you're just looking for general healthy overall weight loss with a coach, we do daily check-ins. So there's a serious amount of accountability, and we follow and get you there meal by meal, day by day, tell you exactly what to eat, how much activity to do, how many steps to get. Pretty much take the entire guesswork out of it for you. All you have to do is plug and play, and we'll get you to your goal, I promise. So strike us a like, comment, subscribe. Follow us for the next episode on Road to the Show. And thanks so much. Cheers. Have a great night, guys. See you again next time.